And clap to the massive brothers and sisters. We are finally back. We finally made it to another reaction on this Mystelics Reacts channel. Big up all yourself for tuning to another Vibrations. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to yet another reactionary commentary, brothers and sisters. Big up all yourself for tuning to these Vibrations. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, do what? Click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there. Click the like button for me right now. And of course, subscribe if you're new to this channel. Subscribe and turn on the post notification. Some of all you not new to this channel, but all you have not subscribed yet, and then comment and say, Mystelics, I didn't see your videos. Subscribe and turn on the post notification by clicking subscribe, click the bell and click all, and of course you'll be notified in that regard right there. Of course, big up to all the Mystelics family, and of course to all the individuals out there, sorry brother guys, and to of course all the individuals out there who have definitely tuned into this vibration, brothers and sisters. Without further ado, let us get into the vibrations for today. Of course, I saw this article. Actually, this article was sent to me and I found it very interesting, brothers and sisters. Economic citizenship in the Caribbean, a threat to Western security. Interesting, brothers and sisters. Of course, we know about the whole situation involving with the situation that is taking place in the United States, and of course I'll be talking about that. There was a press briefing that came out, which of course I think a number of persons need to know, but this article was written about 8 years ago, brothers and sisters, as indicated right there, and it very much is, well, seems like it is for today. But before I get into that, guys, before I get into the whole article written by Rebecca Theodore, there's this press briefing that actually came out, brothers and sisters, and this is what it's been stated right there.
First of all, there is no list. What people are looking at...
Hold on, let me bring it back. Volume up for me, please. All right, let's go.
There's no list. What people are looking at over these last several days is not a list that exists here that is being acted on. There is a review, as we know, through the President's executive order, for us to look at the nature of what's going to help keep America safer in dealing with the issue of visas and who's allowed into the country. But what has been touted as something that is an item through the State Department just simply isn't the case. So the premise, I have to say, I certainly can't speak to because it's not accurate.
So apparently the list is not, well, like I was indicated before, when I saw the list, brothers and sisters, and I noticed it at the top, it states something about the draft. I'm like, we are waiting for the finalists. When is the finalists going to come out and all those kind of things there? But she's indicating to us that there's no list, so to speak. However, they are looking into certain matters, that of which I think it is what they consider the draft. There's no final thing to say, okay, this is the thing right there on the merit of who they're going to be allowing visa access and all those kind of things there. Most likely why the officials, government officials, were stating, hey, we have not gotten any official stuff when it comes on to this situation. And of course, Antigua make sure they clear themselves when it comes on to that situation right there. So they are stating that there's no list. However, they are looking into certain things which most likely would be the other aspect of it. However, there's no list that they are acting on at present. So the whole situation with New York Times putting out something about, you know, a 60-day thing and all those kind of things there, I'm not sure what that indicated, since the Caribbean leaders themselves have no clue what on earth is going on. However, they are indeed looking into certain matters, that of which will relate to that when it comes down to that sentiment of the issuing of passports to certain people, criminals, brothers and sisters. Very interesting stuff right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, on the merit of this sentiment, economic citizenship in the Caribbean, a threat to Western security. 8 years ago, this individual from Washington made this statement right there. As cash-strapped Caribbean nations continue to hunt for ways to raise or of raising revenues amidst the turmoil of the economic crisis facing the world at large, economic citizenship presents an interesting portrait. Of course, January 5th, 2017, right? Oh, let me close this thing. Hold on. And let's zoom back in. All right, thank God for technology. Of course, brothers and sisters, as indicated, I think this is the same thing indicated right there twice. All right. Deemed controversial from its inception into the Caribbean domain, it now seems that this concept of providing a legal means of individual citizenship to sovereign states is now anchoring another heated debate in international debate and dialogue. Remember, brothers and sisters, this has been quite some time that they have been looking into this situation right there, to the point where England finally decided that they're going to cut ties when it comes down to Dominica. And Dominica alone, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about Dominica here as the time goes by. But anyways, while many contented with economic citizenship will create a new revenue stream for government and inward investment in the islands, critics are pessimistic about the low tax rates that economic citizenship offer to investors and its appeal to international criminals to evade taxes. Obviously, we know that Dominica is heavily involved in helping criminals to evade their taxes. Well, I don't know about taxes, but to evade their dirty ways in the country. Is a lie? Tell me I lie, brothers and sisters. Anyways, many findings suggest the economic citizenship in the Caribbean can be a manipulative system and a national security risk that enable capital to be moved around freely, especially at a time when industrialized nations like the United States and Canada are fastening down on so-called tax havens in the Caribbean. Interesting stuff. That's tax havens when it comes to that sentiment right there. But what about the individuals who are using bitcoins? I always find it interesting when they're doing this, because I heard that the government of Dominica wanted to get involved in Bitcoin, and as a result of this, But anyways, we get the point right there. Despite the fact that economic citizenship evokes many nationalistic sentiments and abridges different inclinations, as the sale of land and passports to expatriates well, you know that word. Economic studies indicate that a high-end economic citizenship program will assist in attracting foreign direct investment and a larger scale pool to the Caribbean. According to the press reports, the Caribbean islands of Dominica and St. Kitts and Nevis are the fastest emerging popular immigration destination for recipients of economic citizenship in the Caribbean. Well, I don't know about the immigration of, because apparently people are getting citizenship and they don't even need to set foot in Dominica. I'm not sure for St. Kitts. I think St. Kitts might be the same, but St. Kitts is a bit more responsible when it comes down to the due diligence process. As time, this was 8 years ago, and of course resurfaced yet again, we are clearly seeing the effects of what has taken place between the Caribbean islands, for which the European Union has been very concerned in that regard as well. Because keep in mind, although United States has visa access, not free access, but visa access, you can apply for a visa, European Union does not have that. They don't have that, and as a result, certain persons can then buy into Dominican passports and then fly into European Union without even setting foot. I always found it strange that why didn't they have some sort of reasoning behind it? Okay, you have to come to Dominica, be in Dominica for about 6 months to a year. If you like Dominica, just like Mr. Ross did, Mr. Ross came to Dominica, fell in love with the sunset and the oxygen and the atmosphere and the people and so forth, and decided, you know what, he wants to give that newfound experience to other Americans. As a result, set up Ross, where individuals can also come and train to become medical doctors, as well as basking in the ambience of the nature island, the Caribbean, which of course a number of persons were doing. And then, Dominica make it go. But of course, that's one of the things I think needed to be done when it comes to the CBI program. You cannot just tell me you're giving people passport, they never set foot in Dominica, and somehow, I don't think that is right at all. But while economic citizenship have eased the economic suffering of many Kittians by having a functional, well-respected international citizenship by investment program for more than 28 years, the acquiescing profits and investments that include the EC billion-dollar Marriott Resort, I've been inside there, the Caribbean island of Dominica, and other hand presents. On the other hand, the Caribbean island of Dominica, on the other hand, presents a completely different picture. Despite over the cheap, dishonest sale of Dominica passport, hélas, not me that said that, not me, brothers and sisters. I didn't even reach that far when it comes down to this article right there. But the dispute over the cheap, dishonest sale of Dominica passport continues to entangle in many claims in Washington. You heard that? Let's read that again. The dispute over the cheap, dishonest sale of Dominica passports continue to be entangled in many claims in Washington that the island of Dominica is rapidly becoming a gateway of, certain interesting people, as you can see there, is starts with T, and can become a threat to the national security of the United States and Canada. So when the lady spoke about, they're looking into certain things, don't put, please, hélas, Dominic, hélas, Dominican leaders, they just do whatever they want, They don't care about the implications and impact. And they have been looking into this 8 years and counting. I remember even Biden them were looking into that situation right there before they were living in office. And they put a team together to look into it. And you have a number of persons who have associated with the very CBI program who are also part of the Trump's administration, looking into this stuff right there. So although they have not finalized the list, according to this sentiment right there, and they say there's no list per se on things that they are acting on, they are definitely looking into something right there. Let me read that again. The dispute over the cheap, dishonest sale of Dominica passport continues to be entangled in many claims in Washington that the Dutch island of the Caribbean, Dominica, is rapidly becoming a gateway for certain people. And it's not true. It's not true. It's very true, brothers and sisters. The amount of individuals that have obtained, I have the file somewhere, you know. I have the file. I should have brought up the file somewhere, brothers and sisters. I think I have it on my other computer. But number of persons who have obtained not just Dominica passports to do their criminal dirty ways, but diplomatic passports, ambassadors to Dominica have obtained Dominican diplomatic passports to do their criminal dirty ways. But then again, when they're talking about the T people, does that indicate a lot of things, especially when they're considering on the merit of having certain countries that have been banned from the United States? And Dominica is one of the countries that offering these very places. Antigua come out and say, no, we're not in that business there. You know, we're not in that. But Dominica, on the other hand, brothers and sisters, unfortunately, is one of the countries that have been selling to certain places that are not considered friendly nations to the United States. And brothers and sisters, the continual mismanagement of passports by the Dominican government are a strong confirmation that this is not the purpose of economic citizenship, but the incompetence of corrupt officials that will in time become an insult to national security in the region and the world. So Dominica is like the gateway, my God. But that is something else. This is one of the reasons why I mentioned to you guys, keep in mind that when the United Kingdom decided that they're going to be removing visa-free access to a number of Caribbean nations, the only one that they removed it from was Dominica. The only one, brothers and sisters. They made a claim that certain dates, okay, December, November, so forth, these dates, they made a claim that they're going to remove all the other Caribbean islands, but it seems like they associated everybody together because they are part of the CBI program, but realize it is only Dominica. And this is 8 years ago, you know, brothers and sisters. 8 years ago. I was going to do a different reaction. I decided when I popped there, I was like, this is very interesting. Let me talk to the people about it. Let me do a reaction on it right there. 8 years, brothers and sisters. Let me read that again. The dispute over the cheap, dishonest sale of the Dominica passport, blah, blah, blah. Dominica is rapidly becoming a gateway. Rapidly, that was 8 years ago. And we saw the evidence of that. No doubt about it. The continual mismanagement of passports, blah, 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 a strong confirmation that it's not the purpose of economic citizenship. This is one of the reasons why I say, why are they giving people passports who have never set foot in Dominica? Then they are just pimping the system. And if other Caribbean islands do that, they need to stop their dirty ways. I don't think this is fair at all. Arguably enough, it is also the contention of many that it is impossible for economic citizenship to bring economic relief to citizens and government. Also, however, with the ravaging effects of crime and illiteracy in the Caribbean, why don't we focus? There's a rise in illiteracy in the Caribbean, you know that? Big rise, true. I don't know if it's how the world working to make people dumb, and I don't get it. But anyways, brothers and sisters, however, with the ravaging effects of crime and illiteracy in the Caribbean, the returns from economic citizenship can be used to educate people on the destructive effects of crime and revolution, and also as the new advertising model to attract investors to the Caribbean. Moreover, if all the profits from economic citizenship are used sensibly, I think that's what St. Kitts is doing, then it can be an incentive to improve the living standard of the people in the Caribbean as well. However, are we seeing that in Dominica? That is a good question right there. Building houses for people is not improving the standard of people, because you can be staying in a house, brothers and sisters, and have no affiliations whatsoever to that house on the merit of actually using that house to your betterment. They call that creating generational wealth. Generational wealth starts with assets. And when you have assets, brothers and sisters, then you make a corporation, an association of that assets, then you can move forward and create generational wealth, especially those who understand LLCs and link it to your family. I don't think none of that stuff is in Dominica. But we don't have this kind of, boy, I tell you, it's something else. If many Caribbean governments abstain from their fraudulent and avaricious avaricious ways. First time I seen that word in my life. Then economic citizenship can be combined and structured with tourism, true, investment, true, offshore financial services, true, and diplomacy with Washington to achieve its desired goal of allowing successful applicants the opportunity to reside in a country where they can be protected from economic suffering, social confusions, and political instability right there. Interesting. My mind just came on Haiti. Anyways, in this way, economic citizenship will stimulate economic growth and become an essential constituent of political literacy to citizens, to the citizens and foreigners alike, nationals. In fairness, the development of the Caribbean depends on economic citizenship. Is that really the case? I don't think so. I think most of the leaders, that's what they tend to look into. They think, oh, let's sell our birthrights, and then we'll know, brothers and sisters, the Caribbean has different resources. The Caribbean has different resources. Look, Antigua is using their citizenship by investment to actually pour into the country. Dominica, on the other hand, there is no merit of output for Dominica, none. All they're doing is say, okay, we bring some monies in, and then no benefit to the people on the merit of actually elevating the people. None at all. Giving you a house is not giving you elevation, brothers and sisters. It's not. You get to stay in a house in an economy that is not doing well. It doesn't make any sense that even for the very citizens of the country not understanding this is what they talk about literacy. And illiteracy is true. Because it's very evident what is being stated right there. In fairness, the development of the Caribbean depends on economic citizenship. I don't think so. But anyways, it is now time for Caribbean government to begin to reap the profits of economic citizenship by operating the program in a transparent manner, with a bipartisan parliamentary oversight committee with direct communication to Washington via the respective consulates in the United States. But like I indicated before, brothers and sisters, even when I was talking about the sentiment of the list that they created, the draft list, and I talking about if they're trying to stop visa access and all those kind of things, those who were paying attention realize that I was talking about they also trying to bring embassies into the Caribbean, more embassies, not just in Barbados. They're trying to bring one in St. Lucia, Guyana, and another country. I can't remember what the other one is. And then if they're trying to bring this thing, especially trying to cram down, St. Lucia was also on the list. If they're trying to cram down, well, how would that make sense? So the lady coming with that sentiment stating, hey, there's no such list. I'm guessing no finalized list per se. And as a result of that, but they're still looking into certain things that can protect. Based off this article, you can clearly see that this has been a sentiment in Washington for just over 8 years. You know? And they're saying if Dominicans and other Caribbean islands were using this thing properly, I think Antigua is using their own properly. Even though in Al Jazeera, I think they had about 1, 2. You know, a few people can escape. Not like Dominica and brothers and sisters. I don't understand. Dominica, Dominicans just have reportedly over and over and over. Despite all these things, just last year, we had another criminal obtaining Dominica passport. Just last year, after they making all this, bruh, I don't understand. We don't learn, no. Oh my goodness gracious, brothers and sisters. What they say there needs to be transparent, translucent, whichever manner they're talking about right there. And of course have some sort of oversight when it comes down to the CBI program. We know for a fact that all the monies raised for CBI should come to Dominica. But of course, if they're staying overseas, we have no idea how these monies are being used. Furthermore, on the merit of selling passports, we don't even know what they're selling the passports for. This is probably why the government wants to come and say this and that, no, this and that. They're probably underselling for certain people to get, and then they're overselling for other people to get, certain criminal people to get. And I don't think that is a good thing when it comes down to Dominica at all. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in that sentiment right there, but I think I'm definitely right in that regard. Anyways, brothers and sisters, they have maintained that there's no such list. I'm guessing probably there was a draft list, but no finalized list. This is probably why all the other Caribbean islands did not know about this sentiment, or indicated that they didn't know about this sentiment, even though I mean 8 years ago they have been talking about this and want to pretend as if Dominican government don't know this kind of sentiment. It's only when certain things happen then the government will come and say, oh, we're doing this and doing that, and try to be all this kind of thing, telling the people of Dominica we have the most robust. But the rest of the world know there's no most robust. Remember the guy who came down to reveal a number of things? Individuals trying to track corruption in a number of countries. They found a link back to Dominica. How on earth you saying you're not doing no corrupt practices and individuals who were not looking about Dominica found trails back to Dominica, to the point where they came to Dominica and telling people that there are multiple passports. When the government was indicating to us, if I recollect properly, when the government was confirming to us that all the monies were sent to Dominica, lie. Then come and stated after Lennox decided, hey, let's shut down the place. I want the blah 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 come on radio and say, oh, there are other monies, but these monies are used for development. So all the monies that are supposed to come to Dominica came to Dominica. How on earth we raising Britain and birth? You're selling your birthright, and then some of the monies come to Dominica and some don't come in, and you're saying all the monies come to the Dominican citizenship. This is one of the stipulations the European Union had, stating that all monies raised from CBI should come to the host country. Is Dominica doing that? Huh? But then she says, this is why I say you have to be very careful when it comes to that sentiment right there, because, you know, people might say certain things because it sounds nice, but in reality it's a completely different story. We are the most robust, yay, our criminals, even to the point where Dominica was hiding criminals in Dominica. They were looking for them. Man escaped. One was in Mont Daniel. You know me that said that, no? The man was in Mont Daniel. Trying to evade his dirty ways, and then they catch him in Dominican Republic after they let him go on. Boy, that is something else. Brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts on this, man? What are your thoughts on this? But there's no clear list for anybody to be worried about at present. However, they are looking into certain things when it comes onto the sentiment right there. Let me play it again.
First of all, there is no list. What people are looking at over these last several days is not a list that exists here that is being acted on. There is a review, as we know through the president's executive order, for us to look at the nature of what's going to help keep America safer in dealing with the issue of visas and who's allowed into the country. So
they are actually looking into visas. Just at the list, like I indicated before, most likely is a draft list, not the finalized list, and as a result, there's no such list on that merit right there.
What has been touted as something that is an item through the
State Department, just simply,
as we know through the president's executive order, for us to look at the nature of what's going to help keep America safer in dealing with the issue of visas and who's allowed into the country. But what has been touted as something that is an item through the State Department, it just simply isn't the case. So the premise, I have to say, I certainly can't speak to because it's not accurate.
That's interesting right there, brothers and sisters. New York Times put out that article right there. Then again, it's Trump. So, you know. What are your thoughts, brothers and sisters? What are your thoughts on this? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. And, of course, be mindful that they are looking at Dominica. All right? They are definitely looking at Dominica. I mean, I read they tell you. All right. Is it a threat, brothers and sisters? Is this a threat? By the way, this is CaribbeanNewsService.com. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. These are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. And also, if you've not done so yet, click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. Click the like button. And of course, subscribe and turn on that post notification for more vibrations as they tend to come through right there. And it's about Mystelics. So once again, guys, burial salute the king always. I forget my salute. Be positive.